Immediately, or as soon as possible, having the ability to accept the situation at hand. Because
Yeah.
the longer it takes for that to happen, the longer it takes for you to come up with the, not that it's not saying that it won't happen, but the longer of coming up with that risk and courage to move forward, accepting reality and understanding there is no rewind button, period, end of story. There just is not. There is not. And it doesn't matter. And dwelling about situations buys us short-term therapy. And short-term
Wow.
therapy is never long lasting. It's when things don't go well in people's lives, depending on the severity of what that thing might be, we all have different coping mechanisms for things. And I don't judge any individual for whatever their coping mechanism is, because every individual was raised in a different way.
Yeah.
That no other person may necessarily know about. And it's unfair for any human to judge any other human individual for the way that they may do things just because you wouldn't do it yourself that way. So for some people, it takes more time. For some people, it takes longer time and shorter time. But finding that place of accepting that this is the situation, and there are only two real options about what you can do when you hit adversity. One,
go ahead. Yeah, I want to hear them.
Yeah. One is asking yourself, why me? Asking him or her, why me? And looking for reasons to complain about the situation, and looking for reasons to dwell on the situation, looking for reasons to delay. It's a natural, it's why did I get injured? Why me? Why did why? And it's not that searching the why is necessarily a bad thing, but I think it's distracting for what the long-term goal may be. And the long-term goal may be, should be, is how do I allow this situation in my life to make me a better individual? This is on the website that I had made for me. This is something that I really believe in. I think about someone who is handicapped and is in a wheelchair and finds a way to use that adversity of being someone who is, in a chair for most of their lives, and use that as their vehicle of doing what they may want to do, a professional basketball player in a wheelchair, or maybe doing events, or maybe being a speaker for other people who are also disabled. That is the biggest gift that they were given, is their disability. That's the biggest gift that they were given. And the adversity that we all face as individuals is the biggest asset in our life. The things that you go through, the hardships that you go through, and the challenges, those are the things that make you better and stronger. And when you're hit with adversity in the face, it's developing, this is what grit is all about, developing this tenacious work ethic, this competitiveness, this bulletproof sense and idea of saying and looking it straight in the face, saying, I'm not going to let you take me over. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to beat you at whatever it is. And that is the process we were talking about of it happening over time. It's not going to happen in that moment, but I encourage and implore individuals to think about the fact that what's happening is meant to be. And now it's up to you to create a reaction of some sort. And that reaction.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
That reaction.
No, that reaction isn't necessarily, you don't push a button and suddenly everything's okay. But it's these, I was talking about these good repetitions that you feed yourself over time that will enable you to press that button maybe a little bit quicker, or eventually, and develop that courage to be able to look it in the face and say, game on. That's what I mean.
Wow. Yeah. The two things, man, that is, you just put so perfectly what I've heard others try and articulate, which is when you ask better questions, you get better fucking answers. And when you ask why,
oh, we're allowed to swear on this? Oh, okay.
Sure, man.
Well, that's all.
Oh, okay. When you ask better questions, you get better answers. And that question, why, your kind of negative kind of inner critic is going to really start to get very loud when you ask why. When you ask, what am I going to do about it? You start to get better answers. And that, so it's acceptance of reality without judgment. This is happening, good or bad. And then deciding the question I'm going to ask, which is not why is it happening, so much as in getting that, what did you call it? That short-term therapy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Short-term therapy.
Yeah. Instead of there, it's what do I want to do about it? And that, so I mean, if you could just take, you know, if you're listening and you're on the X, you're on that point of adversity, accepting what's happening, not judging it as good or bad, and then asking yourself empowering questions are going to lead you to take empowering actions. That is so solid, man.
And I want to add one more thing.
Yeah.
And saying this, and I just remember, and what you just said made me think about this when I was 16 and 17, when people were saying to me, Brock, just hang up your shoes, dude. Like, just forget it. Like, go find something else. I remember, and I it's the same thing as someone heckling you during a sporting event. You're on the court and someone's talking shit to you. I love that. Like, that's feeding you so much more fuel to press that button I was just talking about, because the only thing you should be saying to yourself at that point is, I can't wait to fucking stick it in your face. And for the people who used to tell me that it's never going to work, yeah, I didn't make it to the NBA. I didn't play professional basketball. I'm not living off of a salary playing for a team. However, all of those experiences that I dealt with as a basketball player being hurt allowed me to find this career that I paid for myself. And to me, I stuck it in their face, because none of them thought that basketball would ever be part of my reality besides me. And I'm doing it. And that is the most rewarding feeling, when you realize that you will die on your own sword, and you didn't give up. You fucking punched adversity in the face. And so the third thing I want to add to what you just said is, like, reminding yourself that this is such a good opportunity to close your mouth and be super, super, super humble on the outside and super, super cocky on the inside, and say, oh, I'm about to get better, because it's so worth it. It's so worth it. And you just humility forever. And you can be cocky on the inside. I believe some of the most talented people in the world that do what they do are for sure cocky on the inside. I think you have to be a little bit delusional and a little bit confident, obsessed with yourself. But applying this humility on the outside, shutting your mouth, and just putting your chin down and just paving a way for yourself, and just working and grinding and going through that process, you learn so much about yourself.